Welcome back to GrowthTV and ACG Production. I'm Carolyn Vallejo. With exits slowing and global headwinds like tariffs and trade tensions continuing to reshape deal dynamics, is private equity sitting on a risk or a hidden advantage? To help us unlock this, I'm joined by Sola Akinola, who leads Preqin's company intelligence business and has been closely analyzing how exit overhang is evolving, plus what it might mean for deal makers going forward. Sola, thanks so much for being here. Maybe let's start with some context. What are you seeing in terms of the current exit environment?
Thanks, Carolyn. Glad to be here. So to set the stage, while PE deal volume has held up reasonably well, exit volume has not. Whether you look at IPO activity, strategic M&A, or even sponsor-to-sponsor sales, we've seen a sharp decline in completed exits over the past 2 years. This has led to a growing backlog, what we call exit overhang, which are assets that have been held longer than expected, often well beyond their typical 5 to 7 year holding period. And it's been building since 2019. Every quarter that exits lag adds to the stockpile, and what we've been working on analyzing is whether this overhang is simply a risk or whether it might present an opportunity for GPs, LPs, and deal makers alike.
Potentially presenting an opportunity is an interesting perspective here. How and why might exit overhang be more than just a problem for private equity?
That's a great question. Overhang is often viewed as a drag, given that it delays distributions, it ties up capital, and can weigh on fundraising. But looked at differently, it represents a concentrated pool of high-quality exit-ready assets. Many of these companies have matured through multiple cycles. They've survived COVID, rate shocks, geopolitical shifts, and in many cases, they're much more resilient than when they were acquired. What's held them back isn't necessarily poor performance, it's market timing, buyer caution, or simply a lack of strategic clarity in the exit environment. And this is where the opportunities lie for the right buyer. So for secondaries funds, GPs rolling into continuation vehicles, or strategic buyers willing to be flexible, overhang is really supply waiting to be unlocked. It's an actionable inventory. The assets are known, often already de-risked, and in many cases, priced more rationally than they were a few years ago. So yes, overhang poses challenges, but it could also be seen as the supply side setup for the next wave of deal making, if you know how to navigate it.
Certainly. So what are the signs that an overhang-driven exit wave might actually be building as we close out 2025 and head into 2026?
Yeah, so we're watching 3 key indicators that suggest the potential release of exit activity over the next 12 months. First is fund lifecycle pressure. So a large number of funds raised between 2015 and 2017 are approaching or exceeding their original terms. GPs are increasingly facing decisions they can't defer. So you either have to crystallize value through exits or find creative ways to extend. In either case, the clock is running out. Second piece is LP liquidity constraints. Over the last couple of years, distributions have slowed significantly, and that's starting to show up in the re-up behavior. So many LPs are holding back on new commitments until they see meaningful capital returned. That dynamic alone puts additional pressure on GPs to find exit pathways, even if they're not traditional. And then the third, the macro catalysts. If we get even moderate easing on rates, greater clarity on tariffs and trade flows, or stability in public market comps, we could see a resurgence in buyer appetite. And that would reopen the exit window, particularly for quality assets that have been held back for timing reasons. So if these factors converge, we're not talking about a gradual release, but could be talking about a wave, one that's been building for years and may finally start to break.
Let's say that wave does start to break. How should deal makers be positioning themselves today to be prepared?
Yeah, it's a great question. There are 3 practical ways deal makers that we think of could position themselves. Number 1, pre-position for vintage distress. So use data such as Preqin's data to map where the overhang is heaviest. By vintage year, sector, or fund structure, those assets are likely to move first. Number 2, offer flexible capital. So continuation vehicles, strip sales, NAV-based loans, all of these are part of the modern toolkit. The firms that can be flexible could win access. And then number 3, build GP connectivity now. Many of these deals won't go through auction processes. You need to be in front of the GP before the mandate is formalized. This isn't just about capital, it's about timing, creativity, as well as conviction. So if 2026 brings even modest market normalization, we could see a major supply side unlock, one that favors prepared buyers and solution-oriented capital. The playbook is shifting, but those who embrace the complexity of overhang may find themselves in front of the cycle, not behind it.
All right, sounds like it's time to get proactive here. Sola, thank you again so much for joining Growth TV.
Of course. Thanks for having me.